So here we are, we're 3.5 miles up the Sullivan Creek Road, and we have this hillside of Soldier Mountain draining down to the Sullivan Creek Road, and there's no ditch relief culverts here for about 1/10 of a mile, well over about 1/10.5, 0.15. And so we have the water collecting here. You can see that because of willows, cottonwoods, whatnot. And we're going to walk down here, and what's happening is the water is seeping under the road, and it's taking the road out, and it's putting the road down into Sullivan Creek, which we'll see here in a second. And Sullivan Creek is a prime bull trout spawning stream on the Flathead National Forest. This is a Forest Service road in maintenance level 1, meaning it gets very little maintenance. It's closed with a gate to motorized travel. And Sullivan Creek is also critical habitat for bull trout. And here you can see the road is caving away. And it's putting it right smack down into Sullivan Creek. Pan around this way. And it's still occurring in terms of, see if we can find it here. You can see, even though this is in the shadow a bit, the moisture's coming out 3 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet below the roadbed surface. And again, this inboard ditch has no relief culverts for 1.5 of a mile either direction from this low spot in the road, meaning the road grades upwards away from this slump both directions. Near as I can tell, this looks like this has happened in at least a couple different stages, maybe a couple different years. Lower down is a very thinner mud flow. You can see where it's pushed the creek over, and it's now undercutting trees on the other side of the creek and causing them to fall over. And I was down there hiking around a little earlier, and you can just see the mud and the gravel flows here. And then we have, whether it was in the same event or a later event, a sizable chunk of slump here that is looks a little newer to me. It's still got a lot of vegetation growing on it and slid part way down to the creek. So let's just continue to walk around the edge here without falling in. Get a look back the other way. Again, now we're out of the shadow. You can see the moisture seeping out from underneath the roadbed in several places. And down a little lower, it pulls up a little bit and runs. Again, there it is. Ends up down in Sullivan Creek. Critical habitat for threatened bull trout, which are very sensitive to water temperature and to sediment, which smothers eggs in the nest, or what's known as a red. Major slump on Sullivan Creek Road, Flathead National Forest, putting what looks like a couple acres, by my estimation, a couple acres of hillside and road fill down into Sullivan Creek.